As information comes in on this Fort Worth, actually it's called White Settlement. But anyway, as it comes in on that church shooting, I'm going to point out something to you. You listen to the police, and they respond to a situation, and typically they fire some rounds, dude. I mean, they put some rounds down range. And the thing of it is, a lot of those rounds are not hitting their mark. And so if you assume that because a police officer is a police officer, he's somehow gifted and highly trained, you would not be correct. The fact of the matter is, Ohio law requires them to qualify once per year at a course that is approved by APATA, and actually the requirements of that are not that strenuous. Okay, and they are certainly not tailored to responding to within the confines of a church. Okay, so this church in White Settlement had a security team. This is what we're finding out now, and what happened was the guy went in there and he fired his two shots and killed two parishioners. Actually, one of them was a member of the security team, and a single member of that security team got up, fired one round at a distance of approximately 50 feet, from what I understand, and killed the perpetrator. One round. Okay. Not guns ablazing. Okay. And here's the thing. The security team kept themselves trained. Okay. They kept themselves trained, and they knew what they were doing. They went through scenarios, and they put it all together and kept it all together. So here's the thing. Who do you pick on your security team? Okay, you pick up, hey, here's Joe. He's a good guy. I've known him for that. Doesn't mean Joe's qualified for this. Doesn't mean that he has a stomach for this, and doesn't mean that he has any idea how he's going to react under stress. Okay, so you want people who you pretty much know are going to hold it together under stress. Well, here's another thing. They need to prove qualifications. And basically, the security team needs to practice bi-monthly. And here's my suggestion, is that every other month they actually go to a live firing range and they shoot these scenarios, okay, taking the close-in shots, taking the distant shots, and in a combat style setup that simulates what they would face in the church. Okay, and then also monthly that they actually run their training, their scenarios in the church. Now, I don't mean when everybody's there, okay, of course, but they know where they're going to be, and they have somebody acting as a perpetrator, and they respond to the perpetrator, and they go through that drill over and over again. Hang on a second, drop one. Dropped it again. Look at that. Anyway, but the idea is they are mentally preset to respond to this type of situation. Specifically trained for this specific scenario. But who is it? My buddy Joe. Oh, this guy over here, he's a deacon. You know what? I don't care if you could preach the word of God like the Apostle Paul did himself. That makes no difference. You know, do you have what it takes? Do you have the ability to do what you need to do? And can you demonstrate that ability? And how many of them? Okay. I would say in a church my size, I tend to go to Sheffield Church of God. I would say 10. 10 guys. Essentially, it would be nice if the youth pastor was one of those 10 guys who actually went out and trained and all that. Okay, that way he can cover his area on his own since he's kind of sequestered. And then there would be 2 guys out in the lobby, which would also cover the nursery. Okay, so there's 3. There's 7 guys left. Okay. 1 man would be upstairs in the balcony. He needs to be, as you're coming up the stairs, he needs to be in the left side corner. Okay, hard to take out. And then you would have 1 guy stationed at each rear door. Okay, and then 1 guy stationed in the center, on the left and the right in the center, about 2/3 forward or a little more. Okay, and then you have a floater. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you got 3 floaters. 3 float wherever they are going to be. Okay, I mean the thing of it is, these people don't need to be standing by the door guarding. No, I'm gonna tell you what. If I've cased you, let's say I'm the shooter. Okay, let's say I'm the crazy wacko shooter. Well, what I'm gonna do, like Dylan Roof did, is I'm gonna case your joint out first. I might go spend a couple 3 Sundays going to your church, sitting down and praying with you and all that stuff. Okay, just to see who's where and doing what. Now, if I'm going to come in, if I say, well, I'm going to hit this church anyway, okay, I'm going to come in, that person you have standing as guard, an obvious person standing as guard, that's the first person I'm going to shoot. I'm going to take him out of the equation immediately. So basically, these people who happen to be sitting in these specific areas are sitting there participating in the worship service just like any other parishioner. Okay, you want to make them as undiscernible as possible. Now, the 2 guys you have in the lobbies, those discernible. Okay, guy gets through the doors, he's going to take them 2 guys out. Boom, like that. You remember, they're armed with handguns, and he's ostensibly armed with a rifle or a shotgun. Okay, so those 2 are like, well, you figure they're probably gonna get a chance to get it right there. But then again, if you want to take up this banner, you have to say, well, I'm willing to stand in harm's way. I'm willing to potentially be seriously injured or killed to protect my fellow parishioners. If you ain't got that in you, don't do it. Okay? But basically, we want people who have been under stress, okay, who have been in this situation where they face death or serious physical harm, multiple times, okay, that they are your buddy, that they are a deacon in the church, that they administer the Word of God, are not relevant factors. They are not qualifying factors. Okay? Have they been in the mix? Have they had their butt in the line of fire? Okay? Whether it be actual gunfire, like a combat veteran, or whether it be somebody who has actually is a police officer. Now, understand, if he is a police officer, he doesn't get a pass on the training. He still has to train specifically for this. Or a corrections officer. And corrections officers face this all the time, every day. So, and walk through it with ease, relatively. So, who are you picking, and why are you picking them, and are you training them? Okay, are you taking them to a live fire range? And now let's understand, I don't mean down to where you're standing in one spot firing rounds. That's okay if that's all you have. I'm talking about going to, like, my club, Beaver Creek Sportsman's Club. Going out there, I can reserve the club 6 o'clock. Okay, uh, going out there and shooting for several hours in setup scenarios at distances. Okay, greater distances than you're going to be shooting on the inside, but distances that represent potential shots that might be taken in the church. Okay, do I have targets up that are no shoot targets? Because guess what happens if this goes on? A lot of people are going to tuck down and hide behind the pews. True, but there's going to be a number of people who are going to get up and try to run in a panic. So, you have no shoot targets. And you train together as a team. Right? It's not like, well, Joe's okay, let's give him a 9mm and put him in the corner. No, no, no. This is serious business here. This is a business that requires preparation, training, mental preparation, okay? Mental practice from the different scenarios that could happen, okay? And here's the thing: the guy could come in the front door blazing away, or it could be like this guy that in White Settlement who had a trench coat on. And now here's another thing about that: he came in wearing this trench coat, and they already had their eye on him. So that's another thing: is these people need to be aware. Okay, they need to say, this looks a little strange to me. It's really nothing actionable, but it does give me reason to focus specifically here. Okay? And you have to know, you have to have the experience to understand, to see into people, the way they're conducting themselves, to infer things, which you may be wrong, but to infer things, to recognize potentials and possibilities. So that's what I got to say about that. It says, yeah, have a security team, train them, pick them according to qualifications that do not include that. Hey, they're a deacon, and they're my buddy, or the old dude's been around for a long time. He's a good old dude. I don't care. Good old dude might poop his pants and run. Okay, because you ain't training him, and he's not showing his ability to carry out the mission. All right, be serious about this. It's not something you slap together and just say, okay, we got it. This is serious. This is potentially one of the most serious things you could have. Okay, and you need to treat it with due diligence. Monthly training, scenario training. Okay, the whole bit, because maybe something never happens, and pray God it never does, but it might. All right, that's all I got. Bye.